Ah, the overwhelm of doing big, tedious tasks. Hi, Vicky Kelty here with another fluency tip to help keep your English speaking seriously fun. Okay, I was playing around with trying to show you stress, and I'm not sure that my acting potential is up to par, but hopefully you got the idea that I was pretending to be stressed out by something. And that something is showing up for language practice. Sometimes it is a battle. And I think we can all agree that we are familiar with that feeling of being overwhelmed or feeling like we are just like, "Oh, not today," or, "Oh, it just oh." A little Elvis sneer comes on and you're just not gonna show up. It's just not gonna happen. And first of all, totally normal. That's why I said I think we can all relate. I know I can relate to this story. That's why I'm sharing it. And I mentioned in another article, or another video about an article that I had read that talked about exercise snacks. Well, this is going to be another comment on that article and kind of related actually, but this is focusing on sprinkles. So, something else that was mentioned in that same article, it had a lot of really juicy, interesting stuff in it. So, if you haven't read it, please do. I've included the link. Just take a gander, see if you find anything interesting in it. And so, sprinkles, the delightful thing that you get to add on top of your ice cream or on top of the chocolate frosting of a cupcake. Yum. Excuse me while I just salivate over this idea. But sprinkles. The amazing thing about sprinkles is that they are teeny tiny. I mean, you can take a handful of them and it'd be hard to get just one at a time because they get stuck together. And that is sometimes the way that we need to show up for our language practice in order for it to get done. We need to have our practice be the size of a sprinkle rather than the size of the whole cupcake. If this analogy is working for you. So, how can you shift your practice so that it is a teeny tiny little bit of practice? I've mentioned on other occasions about when we're focusing on speaking out loud is a valid form of practice. Just talking to yourself. That might be your sprinkle. That might be the way that sometimes you show up in English to get that practice in. And that is valid. That counts. Okay? So I want to encourage you to accept that and acknowledge that as a valid form of practice and be okay with that. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes we just can't do a 60-minute sitting with a textbook or with an activity or however it is that those 60 minutes need to be divided into whatever your practice looks like. It's so hard to give like this generalized example because we each think of English practice differently. And I think it's also good that I point out that English practice can look so different for each of us. That's also really cool, and also something to let yourself be okay with, that watching a bit of a TV show, speaking to yourself out loud, a TV show in English is what I meant, that counts as your little sprinkle of English practice. So it doesn't always need to be an entire cake. If you ate an entire cake, how would that make you feel? It make me feel sick. I don't think I could even do it, to eat an entire cake in one sitting. No. So does it even make sense for us to pressure ourselves to be doing the equivalent of eating an entire cake with our English practice? Something for you to think about. I, I'm not going to say that there's a right or wrong answer, but maybe it would be less overwhelming to give yourself differing degrees of what showing up in English can look like, so that it doesn't always have to be the equivalent of eating an entire cake. It can be a cupcake size. It can be just a bit of frosting. It can be a sprinkle. And again, what are some things that are sprinkles? Because I think that it's valuable for you to kind of connect with, like, what are little things that I can do in English? I would love to do little things in English. Well, you can write a sentence on a piece of paper. You can write your grocery list in English. Not even all of it. Write the words that come to you. You can do what I said of speaking out loud and watching part of an episode of a TV show. Just start it in English and then switch it back to the language that it regularly is in on your television. You could I can see my piano in the background. So you could sing a song. Look at some of the lyrics of a song. Like, what's a song? 2 minutes? A line from the chorus? I mean, that's like a sentence. What else could you do that's really small? You could read you could read a tweet. Those are generally quite short. I mean, they still have character limits, don't they? I assume so. Okay, those are the few that have come up off the top of my head. So I hope that you will find one of them useful to you, or that they'll inspire another idea for you. And if they do, share in the comments with us what is a little sprinkle of an activity that you could do, just a teeny tiny itty bitty little thing to practice English. All right. Enjoy. Go do it. Do the thing. Bye.